December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor burns. Within 72 hours, the United States faces a crisis no battleship can solve. A war of logistics, shelter, medicine, and machines. Its secret weapon isn't just firepower, it's the ability to build, to mass-produce mercy, speed, and steel. Across the Pacific, American troops sleep in canvas tents that collapse in tropical downpours within 3 weeks. Supply depots flood. Ammunition rots. Soldiers are hospitalized with pneumonia, not from bullets, but from rain. Wooden barracks? Impossible. They require skilled carpenters and lumber that doesn't exist on coral atolls. And the war won't wait. The War Department's order is blunt. Create a shelter that can be manufactured in the U.S., shipped 10,000 miles, assembled by untrained men in one day, cost under $1,000, and survive typhoons, monsoons, and bombs. It sounds like science fiction. In 6 months, it will be reality. The British Nissen hut works in the deserts of North Africa, but not in the steaming jungles of the Pacific. It's too heavy, too hot, too complicated. At Quonset Point, Rhode Island, a team of engineers led by Commander John Philip Drosfeld and builder Otto Brandenberger sets out to reinvent it from scratch. Brandenberger makes a radical proposal: no internal frame. Let the corrugated steel shell carry the entire load. The arch deflects wind. The ribs of corrugation give strength without weight. Each hut uses 96 panels, each under 50 pounds, forming 720 square feet of space, enough for 36 bunks, or an office, a field hospital, or a supply depot. Cost: $1,394 in materials. Assembly: 6 men, 8 hours. No foundation needed, just anchors and cables driven into coral or sand. By 1943, American factories are producing 8,000 huts per month. By war's end, over 160,000 are deployed across every theater. On Iwo Jima, they stand while wooden structures disintegrate. On Guadalcanal, a bomb explodes 40 yards away. Trees are flattened, tents vanish, and the Quonset flexes, but does not fall. One design, dozens of climates, infinite endurance. In 1942, the Navy forms its construction battalions, the Seabees. Over 325,000 men serve. Their mission: build airstrips, fuel depots, hospitals, and harbors from nothing, often while still under enemy fire. They arrive on bare islands with bulldozers, steel mats, and Quonset kits. Within days, runways stretch across the jungle. Their record? A complete hut in 4 hours, 17 minutes on Espiritu Santo. More demonstration than necessity, but proof of what American discipline can do. When others wait for blueprints, the Seabees are already raising flags on finished bases. The Liberty ship was an engineer's poem in rivets, fast, ugly, and unstoppable. The U.S. built 2,710 of them, each capable of crossing the Atlantic with cargo or troops. The record, SS Robert E. Peary, launched in 4 days, 15 hours, 29 minutes. Behind it all was the same logic as the Quonset: standardization, mass production, interchangeable parts. Next came the Victory ships, faster, sleeker, more powerful. Every vessel carried America's will across oceans of danger. Outside Detroit, Henry Ford builds the Willow Run plant, a factory the size of a small city. Here, assembly lines once meant for cars now produce B-24 Liberator bombers. At its peak, 1 aircraft every 60 minutes. By the end of the war, over 18,400 B-24s roll out, nearly half from this single line. Tens of thousands of women, Rosie the Riveters, join the workforce. They learn to weld, rivet, and inspect at a speed the world has never seen. Willow Run becomes more than a plant. It becomes a heartbeat, a pulse of aluminum and courage feeding the skies. Andrew Higgins of New Orleans designs a plywood craft with a steel ramp, the LCVP, capable of landing 36 men directly onto the beach. Over 20,000 are built. Eisenhower later says, "He won the war for us." Alongside it comes the DUKW, the Duck, an amphibious truck that swims ashore, unloads crates, and drives inland. Over 21,000 built, not glamorous, not armored, but absolutely vital. Without them, victory would have stranded itself on the sand. Summer 1944. France is liberated, but the front moves faster than the fuel supply. The answer? The Red Ball Express, a non-stop convoy network hauling up to 12,000 tons a day from Normandy to the advancing armies. Most of its drivers are African-American soldiers, fighting prejudice and fatigue with the same discipline as any combat unit. Their motto: no mission too difficult, no road too long. The tanks roll because they do. When the war began, penicillin was a laboratory curiosity. By 1944, thanks to American industrial science, it became a mass-produced miracle. Pfizer and other companies perfected deep tank fermentation, vast steel vats bubbling with life-saving mold. Production soared by thousands of %. By D-Day, enough penicillin existed for every wounded Allied soldier. Infection rates plummeted. Thousands lived who once would have died. America's strength wasn't just in bullets. It was in the ability to manufacture mercy. Victory wasn't made of headlines. It was made of details. The SCR-584 radar system guiding anti-aircraft fire. The proximity fuse multiplying artillery effectiveness. 640,000 jeeps, every part interchangeable. C rations and K rations, calculated down to calories. Steel-pierced planking, creating instant runways on bare ground. Every bolt, every gasket, every crate fit with the next. A civilization tuned to run like a single engine. The genius of the Quonset wasn't luck, it was physics. A flat wall takes the full punch of the wind. A curve divides it. The pressure flows around, not through. Each corrugation acts like a miniature I-beam, turning thin steel into armor. The arch becomes a compression ring, every panel sharing the load with its neighbor. When Typhoon Cobra hit the Philippines in 1944, 80% of base structures were destroyed. Out of 43 Quonsets, 39 stood, and 4 were repairable. The difference? Proper anchoring. Those built by the book held fast. The rest tumbled like tumbleweeds. The lesson was eternal. Build for the storm before it comes. By 1945, America owns 170,000 Quonset huts scattered across 6 continents. At first, the plan is to scrap them. But the war ends, the soldiers return, and the nation faces a housing crisis. Suddenly, these temporary huts become homes. Entire veterans' villages rise around Los Angeles and Chicago. Universities under the GI Bill turn Quonsets into student housing. Churches hold Sunday services under their curved ceilings. Schools teach an entire generation in temporary classrooms that last for decades. Even when painted pastel and trimmed with porches, the arch remains, a silent reminder that durability can be democratic. Decades pass, and disasters rediscover the wisdom of 1942. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, emergency shelters used the same formula: arched frames, flat-packed panels, and tool-free assembly. After Hurricane Katrina, engineers find that curved buildings outperform rectangular ones in hurricane zones. The tiny house movement borrows Quonset logic: minimal materials, maximum interior space. The U.S. military still deploys modern descendants of the design, made of aluminum and Kevlar, unfolding from containers in an hour. And beyond Earth, NASA and private companies designing Martian habitats arrive at the same conclusion: arched shells, prefabricated modules, lightweight, self-supporting, built for dust storms and isolation. The physics hasn't changed. Only the address has. Victory is measured in tanks and tonnage, but it's also in quieter places: a spoon of hot stew for a prisoner of war, a dose of penicillin for a wounded soldier, a dry cot in a steel hut during a typhoon. America won because it could make things massively, reliably, humanely, because it turned industry into compassion and logistics into law. That's what industrial democracy truly meant: order instead of chaos, supply instead of shortage, an arch instead of a ruin. And when the next storm comes, on Earth or beyond, engineers will draw another curve and workers will tighten another bolt. Because once, long ago, a nation proved that brilliant simplicity can save lives, and that strength is greatest when it remembers to be kind.